The courtroom is packed. Every seat is full. People stand along the back wall. News cameras line up near the door. Everyone wants to see this case. Everyone wants to watch what happens when the man who ran the prison becomes the prisoner. Judge Frank Caprio sits at the bench. His face is serious. His eyes look tired. He's seen a lot in his years as a judge. But this case is different. This case makes his stomach turn. The bailiff stands up. His voice fills the room. Case number 2025 CR 84629. The State versus Warren Blackwell. The side door opens. Two guards walk through. Between them is Warren Blackwell. He's 52 years old. His hair is gray at the temples. He's wearing an expensive navy suit. His shoes are polished so bright they shine under the lights. A gold watch sits on his wrist. It's a Patek Philippe. It costs more than a car. Warren walks to the defendant's table. His back is straight. His head is high. He doesn't look scared. He looks annoyed, like this is all a mistake, like he doesn't belong here. If you believe that power should never put someone above the law, you'll want to see what happens next. Judge Caprio looks down at the papers in front of him. He takes a slow breath. Then he looks up at Warren. Mr. Blackwell, you were the warden at Riverside State Prison for 15 years. Is that correct? Warren nods. Yes, Your Honor. His voice is smooth, confident. And during those 15 years, you were in charge of 1,847 inmates. You controlled their food, their medical care, their safety, their lives. That's correct. The judge looks at the papers again. His jaw tightens. The state has charged you with 23 counts of bribery, 17 counts of misconduct in office, 8 counts of fraud, and 5 counts of endangering the welfare of inmates. He looks up. How do you plead? Warren's lawyer stands. He's young, maybe 35. His suit is expensive too. Your Honor, my client pleads not guilty to all charges. This is a misunderstanding. Former Warden Blackwell served the state with distinction for... Sit down, Judge Caprio says. His voice is quiet but firm. I didn't ask you. I asked your client. The lawyer sits. His face turns red. Warren stands. Not guilty, Your Honor. I served my state. I served those inmates. I kept them safe for 15 years. This is all lies. A woman in the front row makes a sound. It's somewhere between a laugh and a sob. Judge Caprio looks at her. She's wearing a simple dress. Her hands are shaking. Her eyes are red from crying. Ma'am, are you all right? The judge asks. She stands up. Her voice cracks when she speaks. Your Honor, my name is Rita Paulson. That man. She points at Warren. Her finger shakes. That man let my son die. The courtroom goes silent. Warren's face doesn't change. He just stares straight ahead. Mrs. Paulson, please sit down. Judge Caprio says gently. I promise you'll get to speak, but not yet. Rita sits. Tears run down her face. A man next to her puts his arm around her shoulders. Judge Caprio looks at the prosecutor. Counselor, present your case. The prosecutor stands. Her name is Jessica Chen. She's 41 years old. She's been a prosecutor for 16 years. She's handled murder cases, drug cases, gang cases. But this case made her angry in a way those others didn't. This case involved someone who was supposed to protect people. Someone who was supposed to uphold the law. Someone who betrayed every oath he ever took. Your Honor, the state will prove that Warren Blackwell ran Riverside State Prison like a business. His business. For 15 years, he took bribes from wealthy inmates. He gave them special treatment. Private cells, better food, access to phones and computers, drugs, alcohol, even time outside the prison. Warren shakes his head. He whispers something to his lawyer. While rich inmates lived in comfort, poor inmates suffered. They got moldy food, broken heaters in winter, no medical care, violence, abuse. Some died. The state will present evidence that Warren Blackwell's actions directly led to the deaths of 7 inmates. 7 men who had families, who had people who loved them, who deserved basic human dignity even behind bars. Judge Caprio writes something down. What evidence do you have? Bank records showing $347,000 deposited into offshore accounts. text messages between Blackwell and wealthy inmates, video footage from security cameras, testimony from 23 former inmates, testimony from 14 prison guards who witnessed the abuse, and testimony from the families of the men who died. Objection. Warren's lawyer jumps up. Your Honor, those bank accounts can't be proven to belong to my client. The text messages could be faked, and inmate testimony is notoriously unreliable. These are criminals making accusations against a man who dedicated his life to. Save it for trial, Judge Caprio says. Sit down. The lawyer sits again. He looks at Warren. Warren's jaw is clenched now. The confidence is cracking. Let's start with the bank records, Judge Caprio says. Prosecutor Chin, walk me through this. Jessica picks up a folder. She pulls out papers. Your Honor, starting in 2010, a Cayman Islands account under the name WB Holdings received regular deposits. Small amounts at first. $2,000 here. $5,000 there. But by 2024, the deposits grew larger. Much larger. In January 2024 alone, $43,000 was deposited. And you can prove this account belongs to Mr. Blackwell. Yes, Your Honor. The account was accessed multiple times from Mr. Blackwell's home IP address. We have login records. We also have security footage from a bank in Georgetown, Cayman Islands, showing Mr. Blackwell accessing a safety deposit box connected to this account on March 8, 2024. She pulls out a photo. It shows Warren in casual clothes, sunglasses, a Hawaiian shirt. He's walking into a bank. The timestamp says March 8, 2024, 10:47 a.m. Judge Caprio looks at the photo. Then he looks at Warren. Mr. Blackwell, when was this photo taken? Warren shifts in his seat. I took a vacation. That's not illegal. No one said it was. When was this photo taken? March, last March. And what were you doing at a bank in the Cayman Islands? Warren's lawyer stands. Your Honor, my client doesn't have to. I asked a simple question. What were you doing at that bank? Warren looks at his lawyer. The lawyer nods. Warren turns back to the judge. I was checking on an investment account. An investment account in the Cayman Islands, under a fake company name, that received $347,000 over 14 years. Judge Caprio's voice is flat. That's interesting timing for investments. I worked hard. I saved my money. I invested it legally. Jessica Chin steps forward. Your Honor, may I present Exhibit B? Go ahead. She pulls out more papers. These are Warren Blackwell's official tax returns from 2010 to 2024. His salary as warden was $87,000 per year. After taxes, that's about $62,000 take home. He has a mortgage of $2,100 per month. Car payments, insurance, utilities, food, the average American spending habits. Get to the point, counselor. Your Honor, there's no way Warren Blackwell saved $347,000 on a warden's salary while maintaining his lifestyle. The math doesn't work. He has 2 cars, both expensive, a Lexus and a BMW. He took 3 international vacations per year. His credit card statements show regular purchases at high-end restaurants. Golf club memberships that cost $15,000 annually. Where did that money come from? Warren stands up. His voice is loud now. I manage my money well. I'm not on trial for being financially smart. Sit down, Mr. Blackwell, Judge Caprio says. Now? Warren sits. His face is red. His hands grip the table. Let's talk about these text messages, the judge says. Prosecutor Chin, what do you have? Jessica pulls out her phone. Your Honor, these messages were recovered from Warren Blackwell's personal cell phone. The phone was seized when he was arrested. Our tech team extracted over 2,000 text messages between Blackwell and various inmates. Read me some examples. Jessica scrolls through her phone. June 14, 2023. From an inmate named Derek Sutton. Quote, can you make sure I get the East Wing cell, the one with the window? I'll make it worth your time. Blackwell's response, $5,000, cash. Have your people drop it at the usual spot. The courtroom buzzes. People whisper to each other. Judge Caprio holds up his hand. The room goes quiet. Keep going, he says. August 3, 2023. From an inmate named Marcus Chen. Quote, "My back is killing me. The doctor here won't give me anything. Can you help?" Blackwell's response, "What's it worth to you?" Chen, 10,000? Blackwell, "Done. You'll have your pills by tomorrow." "Your Honor, I object." Warren's lawyer says, he's standing again. "We don't know if those messages are real. They could have been planted. They could have been." "Were these messages forensically verified?" Judge Caprio asks. "Yes, Your Honor," Jessica says. 3 independent tech experts confirmed they're authentic. No tampering. No forgery. These are real messages from Warren Blackwell's real phone. Warren whispers to his lawyer. The lawyer shakes his head. Warren whispers more urgently. The lawyer holds up his hands like he doesn't know what to do. "Let me read you one more," Jessica says. Her voice gets quiet. December 19, 2023. From an inmate named James Paulson. Rita Paulson makes that sound again, the sob laugh. Her whole body shakes. James Paulson texted Warren Blackwell at 3:42 a.m. Quote, "I can't breathe good. Something's wrong. I need to see a doctor. Please." Warren Blackwell didn't respond until 9:15 a.m. 6 hours later, his response was, "Medical costs extra. You got money?" James responded, "I'm broke. Please, I'm scared." Warren never responded again. The courtroom is so quiet you can hear the clock on the wall. Tick, tick, tick. James Paulson died at 4:17 p.m. that same day. Jessica continues. The autopsy showed he had pneumonia. Untreated. It turned into sepsis. His organs shut down. He was 34 years old. He was in prison for writing bad checks. Nonviolent offense. 2 years. He had 8 months left on his sentence. He would have been released in August 2024. He never made it. Rita Paulson stands up. She's crying hard now. "He was my baby, my only child. He made a mistake. A stupid mistake. But he didn't deserve to die. He begged that man for help. He begged. And that man asked him for money. 2 people have to help Rita sit down. She can barely breathe." Warren still doesn't look at her. He stares at the table. His face is like stone. Judge Caprio takes off his glasses. He rubs his eyes. He puts his glasses back on. "Mr. Blackwell, look at that woman." Warren doesn't move. I said, "Look at her." Slowly, Warren turns his head. He looks at Rita Paulson for maybe 2 seconds. Then he looks away. "What do you see when you look at her?" Judge Caprio asks. Warren doesn't answer. "I'll tell you what I see. I see a mother who lost her son. I see a woman whose child died alone. In pain. Scared. Begging for help. And the person who could have helped him chose money over mercy." "Your Honor," my client. "I'm not talking to you." Judge Caprio snaps at the lawyer. "I'm talking to him." He points at Warren. "You've had power over 1,847 human beings. That's not a small thing. That's enormous. Those men were locked up. They couldn't leave. They couldn't choose their doctor. They couldn't buy their own food. They couldn't protect themselves. They depended on you, and you treated them like a business opportunity." Warren finally speaks. His voice is cold. "Your Honor, with respect, those men were criminals. They broke the law. They made choices. Bad choices. They ended up in my prison because they deserved to be there." "And what about James Paulson? Did he deserve to die?" "I didn't kill him." "No, you just refused to help him because he was broke. I was running a prison, not a charity." The courtroom erupts. People yell. Someone throws something. The bailiff steps forward. Judge Caprio bangs his gavel 3 times. Hard. "Order. I will have order in this courtroom." It takes a full minute for everyone to quiet down. When they do, Judge Caprio leans forward. His eyes are locked on Warren. "Mr. Blackwell, did you just say you were running a prison, not a charity?" Warren realizes his mistake. His eyes go wide. "I meant." "No, you said exactly what you meant. You saw those men as customers. Not inmates. Not human beings. Customers. The ones with money got service. The ones without money got nothing." "Your Honor, I served the state for 15 years. I kept that prison running. I kept it safe. You kept it safe for who? The rich inmates who could pay you? What about the others? Warren's mouth opens, then closes. He has no answer. Jessica Chen steps forward again. Your Honor, may I present video evidence? Please. A screen is rolled into the courtroom. A laptop is connected to it. Jessica clicks a button. The screen lights up. This is security footage from Block D of Riverside State Prison. Block D houses inmates who can't afford to pay for better treatment. This footage is from December 18, 2023, the day before James Paulson died. The video plays. It's black and white. The quality is bad, but you can see everything you need to see. The video shows a long hallway, cell doors on both sides. The paint on the walls is peeling. Water drips from a pipe. You can see inmates through the small windows in their cell doors. They're crowded. 3 or 4 men in cells meant for one. Note the temperature display in the corner, Jessica says. It shows 48 degrees Fahrenheit. This is December in Rhode Island. These men are in a concrete building with no heat. The video continues. An inmate bangs on his cell door. His breath comes out in clouds. You can see he's shaking. Now let's look at footage from the same day, same time. Block A. This is where wealthy inmates stay. The video changes. Now the hallway is clean. The paint is fresh. The lighting is bright. Cell doors have actual windows. You can see inside. Each cell has one inmate. Each has a bed with a real mattress, a desk, a chair, a small TV. Note the temperature here, Jessica says. 72 degrees. Comfortable. Normal. She pauses the video. Same prison, same day, same time, but completely different conditions. And the only difference between these inmates is money. The men in Block A paid Warren Blackwell for better treatment. The men in Block D couldn't afford to pay, so they froze. Judge Caprio stares at the screen. How many men were in Block D that night? 164, Your Honor. And how many in Block A? 23. So 23 wealthy inmates got heat. 164 poor inmates froze. Correct. Warren stands up. His voice is loud. Defensive. Your Honor, the heating system in Block D was broken. I put in work orders. I called maintenance. It wasn't my fault. Jessica clicks another button. A document appears on screen. This is the maintenance log for Riverside State Prison, December 2023. There are no work orders for Block D heating. None in November either, or October. In fact, the last time maintenance was called for Block D was March 2023, 9 months earlier. Warren sits back down, hard, like his legs stopped working. But there are plenty of work orders for Block A, Jessica continues. New paint, new mattresses, installation of cable TV, repair of the coffee machine. All marked as high priority. All completed within 48 hours. Judge Caprio looks at Warren. You fixed a coffee machine in 48 hours, but 164 men froze for 9 months. It's not that simple, Warren says. His voice is smaller now. Running a prison is complicated. Resources are limited. I had to make choices about who deserved to be warm, about who deserved medical care, about who deserved to live. Warren doesn't answer. He can't. Let me read you something, Judge Caprio says. He picks up a paper. This is from the oath you took when you became warden. Quote, I will faithfully execute the duties of my office without favor or prejudice. I will treat all inmates with dignity and respect. I will uphold the constitutional rights of those in my care, regardless of their crime or status. Did you take this oath? Yes. Did you mean it? Warren looks at his lawyer. The lawyer shakes his head slightly. Warren shouldn't answer, but Warren is angry now, defensive. He answers anyway. I meant it when I said it. But, Your Honor, you don't know what it's like. Running a prison on the budget they gave me. Dealing with criminals every day. Violent criminals. Drug dealers. Murderers. People who would kill you for a pack of cigarettes. I had to maintain order. I had to. You had to what? Charge them for basic human rights? I had to survive. Do you know what wardens make? Do you know how hard that job is? I dealt with riots, stabbings, gangs. I got death threats, actual death threats. My family got threatened. And what did the state give me? $87,000 a year, that's it, for risking my life every single day. The courtroom is silent again, but it's a different kind of silence. This time it's because everyone is shocked. Warren just admitted everything. He just said he deserved the bribes because his job was hard. Judge Caprio puts down the paper. Mr. Blackwell, did you just say you took bribes because you felt underpaid? Warren realizes what he's done. No, that's not what You absolutely did. You just told this entire courtroom that you sold basic human rights because you thought you deserved more money. Your Honor, please. I didn't mean. How much is a human life worth, Mr. Blackwell? Put a dollar amount on it. How much would James Paulson have had to pay you to get medical care? Warren's mouth opens. His face is pale now, sweating. Answer me. How much? I don't know. Yes, you do. You had a price for everything. What was your price for saving a life? There was no price. I never. Jessica Chin interrupts. Your Honor, we have testimony from multiple inmates about pricing. May I present it? Please. She pulls out more papers. Former inmate Marcus Chen testified that he paid $10,000 for pain medication. Former inmate Derek Sutton paid $5,000 for a better cell. Former inmate Robert Mills paid $8,000 to have assault charges dropped after a fight. Former inmate, how many do you have? Judge Caprio asks. 23 inmates have come forward. Total amount paid to Warren Blackwell, $347,000, the exact amount in his offshore account. Warren's lawyer finally stands. He looks tired, defeated. Your Honor, I'd like to request a recess. I need time to confer with my client. Denied. Sit down. But Your Honor. I said sit down. The lawyer sits. He won't look at Warren. Judge Caprio shuffles through papers. Let's talk about the other deaths. We've discussed James Paulson. What about the other 6? Jessica pulls out a list. Marcus Webb, age 41. Died February 2022. Cause of death, diabetic coma. He had been requesting insulin for 3 weeks. Warren Blackwell told him each vial would cost $2,000. Marcus couldn't pay. He fell into a coma. He died 6 hours later. Rita Paulson is crying again. A man behind her is crying too. An older woman, a young girl, maybe 16. All families of the dead men. David Chang, age 29. Died July 2022. Cause of death, suicide. He had been requesting mental health counseling for depression. Warren Blackwell told him therapy sessions cost $500 per hour. David couldn't pay. He hanged himself in his cell. Warren's face is in his hands now, but Judge Caprio isn't done. Antonio Reyes, age 36. Died November 2022. Cause of death, internal bleeding from untreated ulcer. He requested medical care. Blackwell told him an exam cost $3,000. Antonio couldn't pay. He died in his sleep. Enough, Warren says. His voice is muffled behind his hands. Please, enough. No, Judge Caprio says. His voice is hard as iron. Not nearly enough. 4 more names. 4 more families. 4 more men who died because of your greed. Stephen Foster, age 52. Died March 2023. Cause of death, heart attack. No defibrillator in Block D. Equipment was broken. Warren never ordered repairs because Block D inmates couldn't pay. Jamal Washington, age 25. Died August 2023. Cause of death, sepsis from infected wound. Fight in the yard. Got stabbed. Requested stitches. Warren told him stitches cost $1,500. Jamal couldn't pay. Infection spread. Died 4 days later. Charles Murphy, age 48. Died October 2023. Cause of death, pneumonia. Same as James Paulson. Requested medical care. Couldn't pay. Died alone. The list is done. Jester puts it down. The courtroom is filled with the sound of crying. Not just Rita now. Multiple people. Men and women. All families. All grieving. Warren is still hiding his face in his hands. His shoulders shake. Maybe he's crying. Maybe he's just scared. Hard to tell. Judge Caprio takes a long breath. He looks at Warren, then at the families, then back at Warren. Mr. Blackwell, take your hands off your face. Warren doesn't move. I said take your hands off your face. Look at me. Slowly, Warren lowers his hands. His eyes are red. His face is wet. He looks at the judge. You took an oath. Judge Caprio says, you swore to protect those men. All of them. Not just the rich ones. All of them. They were in your care, your responsibility. And you betrayed that trust in the worst possible way. I know, Warren whispers. I know. I'm sorry. You're sorry. You're sorry. Judge Caprio's voice rises. 7 men are dead. 7 families are destroyed. And you're sorry? I didn't mean for anyone to die. I swear. I never wanted. But they did die. Because you valued money over human life. Because you saw an opportunity to get rich, and you took it. You took it every single day for 15 years. Warren is full-on crying now. Tears stream down his face. His nose runs. Please, Your Honor. Please. I made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. But I'm not a monster. I'm not. What are you then? What do you call someone who lets men die for profit? Warren has no answer. He just cries. Judge Caprio picks up his gavel, then puts it down. He doesn't need it. The room is silent except for the crying. Let me tell you what I see, the judge says. His voice is quieter now, but somehow more powerful. I see a man who had everything. A good job. A decent salary. A purpose. You could have been a hero. You could have fought for those men. Fought for better funding. Better conditions. Better resources. You could have been their advocate. Their protector. He pauses, but you chose a different path. You chose to exploit them. You saw vulnerable people and you saw dollar signs. You saw suffering and you saw opportunity. Warren shakes his head. No, it wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. Help me understand how a man becomes so cold that he lets another man die while begging for help. I don't know. It started small. Just little favors. Moving someone to a better cell. Getting someone an extra blanket. They offered money. I needed money. My daughter was going to college. My wife wanted to remodel the kitchen. It was just small things at first. And then it got bigger. Warren admits. It became normal, expected. Inmates would ask how much things cost. I'd name a price. They'd pay or they wouldn't. It was just business. Business. Judge Caprio repeats. You turned a prison into a business, with customers and products, except your products were things like medicine, warmth, safety, basic human dignity. Warren nods. He can't speak. And the men who couldn't pay? What were they to you? I tried to help them too, when I could, but there were so many, and the budget was so tight. I couldn't help everyone. But you could help the ones who paid you $347,000. Warren's head drops. Yes. Stand up, Judge Caprio says. Warren stands. His legs shake. Warren Blackwell, you have been found guilty on all counts. 23 counts of bribery. 17 counts of misconduct in office. 8 counts of fraud. 5 counts of endangering the welfare of inmates. This court now moves to sentencing. The courtroom holds its breath. Warren sways on his feet. His lawyer puts a hand on his shoulder to steady him. Let's start with the financial penalties. Judge Caprio says, you stole $347,000 from the most vulnerable people in our society. Every dollar of that money will be returned. Not to the state, to the families of the men who died, divided equally. Each family gets $49,571. Rita Paulson makes a sound. It's not joy. Money can't bring back her son. But it's something. It's acknowledgement. Additionally, you will forfeit all assets purchased with prison money. Your Lexus, your BMW, your golf club membership, your vacation home in Florida, all of it will be sold. The money will go to a fund for prison reform, to make sure this never happens again. Warren nods. He expected this. You will also pay a fine of $500,000 to the state for the cost of this investigation, for the damage you caused to public trust, for the resources wasted on your corruption. Your Honor, the lawyer says weakly, my client doesn't have. Then he'll pay it over time. I don't care if it takes the rest of his life. He'll pay. The judge pauses. He picks up another paper. Now let's talk about your law enforcement certification. As of this moment, you are permanently barred from any position of authority in corrections, law enforcement, or security. You will never again have power over another human being in an official capacity. Warren's face crumples. That was his career. His identity. Gone. But that's not all, Judge Caprio continues. That's not nearly enough for what you've done. The state has recommended 15 years in prison. 15 years for 23 counts of bribery, 17 counts of misconduct, 8 counts of fraud, and 5 counts of endangering lives. The courtroom is so quiet. Everyone leans forward. I reject that recommendation, the judge says. Warren's head snaps up. Hope flashes across his face. Maybe the sentence will be lighter. Maybe. 15 years is not enough. I sentence you to 25 years in state prison. The hope dies. Warren's knees buckle. His lawyer catches him. But that's still not all, Judge Caprio says. There's one more thing. One more element to your sentence that I think is particularly appropriate. He looks at Warren, really looks at him. Warren Blackwell, you will serve your 25-year sentence at Riverside State Prison. The same prison you ran. The same prison where 7 men died under your watch. You will live in Block D, the block with no heat, the block with the broken pipes, the block where the men you neglected suffered. The courtroom explodes. People gasp. Someone cheers. Others cry. Warren goes completely white. His mouth opens, but no sound comes out. You will be treated like every other inmate. Judge Caprio continues over the noise. No special privileges. No private cell. No better food. You will sleep in the same beds those men slept in. You will eat the same food they ate. You will shower in the same showers. You will live exactly as they lived. Warren finally finds his voice. Your Honor, you can't. I'll be killed in there. The inmates will. They all know me. They'll be afraid? Judge Caprio finishes. Feel vulnerable? Feel helpless? Feel like your life is in someone else's hands? Warren stares at him. Not even know how they felt. Every single day. For 15 years. Please, Warren begs. Please, send me anywhere else. Any other prison. I'll do 30 years. 40. Just not there. Please. You should have thought about that before you let James Paulson die. Before you let 6 other men die. Before you made $347,000 selling human dignity. The judge bangs his gavel once. Sentencing is complete. Bailiff, take Mr. Blackwell into custody. 2 bailiffs move forward. They pull out handcuffs. Warren tries to step back, but there's nowhere to go. No, he says. His voice is high. Panicked. No, please. Your Honor, please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't send me there. The bailiffs grab his arms. They spin him around. The handcuffs click into place. The sound echoes in the quiet courtroom. I have money. Warren shouts. I can pay more. I can make this right. Please. Exactly the wrong thing to say, Judge Caprio says quietly. Warren is still begging as they drag him toward the side door. Please. Your Honor. I'll do anything. Please don't send me to Riverside. Please. The door closes behind him. His voice cuts off. The courtroom slowly exhales. Rita Paulson is crying, but this time there's something else mixed in with the sadness. Relief maybe, or justice. She looks at Judge Caprio. Thank you, she mouths. He nods at her. This court is adjourned, Judge Caprio says. He bangs the gavel one last time. People start to file out. The families of the dead men huddle together. Some cry. Some hug. Some just stand there, processing what just happened. Jessica Chen packs up her papers. She did her job. Justice was served, but she doesn't feel happy. 7 men are still dead. 25 years won't bring them back. 6 months pass. It's a Tuesday morning. Judge Caprio sits in his chambers. He's reviewing case files for the day. His phone rings. Judge Caprio, he answers. Your Honor, this is Warden Patricia Mills from Riverside State Prison. Yes, Warden. What can I do for you? I wanted to give you an update on Warren Blackwell, since you specifically requested reports on his adjustment. Judge Caprio puts down his pen. Go ahead. He's been here for 6 months now. It's been difficult. He requested protective custody 14 times. We denied each request per your sentencing guidelines. He's in Block D as ordered. How is he adjusting? Not well, Your Honor. He's been assaulted twice. Nothing too serious. Black eye. Bruised ribs. The inmates know who he is. They remember what he did. Some of them lost friends because of him. And his behavior. That's actually why I'm calling. He's changed. Significantly. He's not the same man who walked in here 6 months ago. Changed how? He's quiet now. Keeps to himself. Follows every rule. Never complains. Not once. Not about the cold. Not about the food. Not about anything. He goes to his job assignment every day. Works hard. Helps other inmates when he can. Judge Caprio leans back in his chair. That's interesting. There's more. 3 weeks ago, an inmate in his block had a seizure. This was at night. No guards nearby. Warren was the one who called for help. He stayed with the man. Made sure he didn't hurt himself. Probably saved his life. Did he ask for anything in return? No, Your Honor. Nothing. When I asked him about it, he just said it was the right thing to do. And the other inmates? How did they treat him? Better than before. Some of them still hate him. Always will. But others, they're starting to see something different. One inmate told me that Warren apologized to him for how things were before, for what he did. Judge Caprio is quiet for a moment. Warden Mills, I appreciate the update. Keep me informed if anything changes. Will do, Your Honor. He hangs up, sits there thinking, wondering if change is real. If a man like Warren Blackwell can truly learn, truly become different. 1 year later, Judge Caprio gets another call. Same warden. Your Honor, I have something unusual to report. What is it? Warren Blackwell has requested to speak at a new guard training session. He wants to tell this story. Warn new corrections officers about what happens when you abuse your power. Did you approve it? Not yet. I wanted your permission first, given your sentencing guidelines. Judge Caprio thinks. What do the other inmates think? I asked around. Most support it. They think if his story can prevent another warden from doing what he did, it's worth it. Then approve it. But I want a video recording sent to my office. Yes, Your Honor. 2 weeks later, a video arrives. Judge Caprio watches it alone in his chambers. The video shows a classroom at Riverside State Prison. 20 young corrections officers sit in chairs. They're fresh from the academy. Eager, nervous, ready to start their careers. Warren Blackwell walks in. He's wearing prison khakis. He's thinner than he was a year ago. His hair is completely gray now. His face is lined. He looks older. Tired. But his eyes are different. They're not cold anymore. They're not calculating. They're sad and aware. He stands at the front of the room. No podium. No notes. Just him. My name is Warren Blackwell, he says. His voice is rough. I was the warden here for 15 years. Now I'm inmate number 84,629. I'm serving 25 years for corruption, for bribery, for letting 7 men die because they couldn't pay me. The young officers shift uncomfortably. I'm not here to make excuses, Warren continues. I'm not here to ask for sympathy. I'm here to tell you the truth about what happens when you stop seeing inmates as people, when you start seeing them as opportunities, when you forget why you took this job in the first place. He takes a breath. I started out just like you. I wanted to make a difference. I believed in rehabilitation, in second chances, in the system. But somewhere along the way, I lost that. I got tired, bitter, underpaid, underappreciated, and I started to justify little compromises, little favors for money. It was just small things at first. But small things become big things, and big things become normal things. And before I knew it, I was running this place like a business. I had prices for everything. Better cell? $5,000. Medical care? $3,000. Safety from other inmates? $10,000. I had a price for human dignity. And men died because of it. His voice cracks. He stops, composes himself. James Paulson was 34 years old. He texted me at 3:42 a.m. He couldn't breathe. He was scared. He begged for help. And I asked him if he had money. He didn't, so I didn't help him. He died 12 hours later. I have to live with that. Every day, every single day I wake up and I remember that I could have saved him. It would have cost me nothing. Just a phone call to medical. Just a basic human response to someone in need. But I didn't do it, because he couldn't pay. Warren looks at each officer, making eye contact. You're about to start working here. Some of you will be assigned to Block D. That's where I live now. You'll see me every day. You'll see me eating the same moldy food I used to let inmates eat. You'll see me freeze in the winter when the heat doesn't work. You'll see me wait in line for medical care like everyone else. I'm telling you this story because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. This job is hard. It's thankless. The pay is terrible. You'll deal with violence and threats and people who hate you. But you cannot let that turn you into what I became. These inmates are people. Yes, they made mistakes. Yes, they broke the law. Yes, some of them are dangerous, but they're still people. They still feel pain. They still get sick. They still deserve basic human dignity. Not because they earned it, but because they're human. If you remember nothing else I say, remember this. You have power over these men. Real power. Life and death power. How do you use that power defines who you are. It defines whether you're a corrections officer or just another criminal in a uniform. I was supposed to protect them. Instead, I preyed on them. And now I'm one of them. And I deserve to be here. He stops talking. The room is silent. One young officer raises his hand. Do you regret it? Warren looks at him. Every second of every day, but regret doesn't bring back the dead. It doesn't undo the harm. It doesn't earn forgiveness. All it does is remind me of who I used to be and who I am now. Can people change? Another officer asks. Can you change? I don't know, Warren says honestly. I'm trying. I'm trying to be better than I was. But I'll never be good. I killed 7 men through negligence and greed. There's no coming back from that. There's no redemption arc. There's just trying to do less harm than I did before. The training officer stands. Thank you, Blackwell. You can go. Warren nods. He walks toward the door, then stops, turns back. One more thing, he says. When you walk through this prison, you'll see men who look dangerous, who look like monsters, who look like they don't deserve your compassion. But James Paulson was here for writing bad checks. David Chang was here for drug possession. Marcus Webb was here for theft. They weren't monsters. They were just people who made mistakes. And they died because I decided their lives weren't worth saving. Don't be like me. Be better. Be what I should have been. Then he leaves. The door closes behind him. The video ends. Judge Caprio sits in his chambers. He thinks about justice, about punishment, about whether people can truly change. He doesn't have answers, but he knows one thing. Warren Blackwell will spend the next 24 years living with his choices, living as the men he failed lived, understanding, finally, what he took from them. 3 years pass. Judge Caprio receives a letter. It's handwritten. The handwriting is shaky. The paper is cheap. Prison stationery. Dear Judge Caprio, it begins. My name is Warren Blackwell, inmate number 84,629. You sentenced me 3 years ago. I'm not writing to ask for leniency. I'm not writing to appeal. I'm writing to say thank you. Judge Caprio raises his eyebrows. Thank you? He keeps reading. When you sentenced me to serve my time here at Riverside, I thought it was the cruelest thing anyone could do. I was terrified. I thought I'd die in here. I thought the inmates would kill me. I thought it was a death sentence. Maybe that's what you intended. I don't know. But something different happened instead. Something I didn't expect. For the first time in 15 years, I lived like the men I was supposed to protect. I felt what they felt. The cold, the hunger, the fear, the helplessness, the complete dependence on others for every basic need. And it broke me. It absolutely broke me. I understood, finally, what I had done. Not in my head, in my bones, in my gut. I felt it. The first time I got sick here, I had to wait 6 hours to see a nurse. 6 hours of pain and fear. And I remembered James Paulson. I remembered him waiting, begging, dying. And I understood. I can't undo what I did. I know that. 7 men are dead because of me. Their families are destroyed. Nothing I do will fix that. But I can try to do better now. I help other inmates when I can. I share my food. I check on the sick ones. I call for help when someone needs it. It's not enough. It will never be enough. But it's something. You didn't just punish me, Judge Caprio. You taught me. You forced me to understand what I was too blind and greedy to see before. That these men are human. That suffering is suffering, no matter who feels it. That power is responsibility, not opportunity. I have 22 years left on my sentence. I'll probably die in here. I'm okay with that. It's what I deserve. But I wanted you to know that those years won't be wasted. I'm not the same man you sentenced. I'll never be a good man, but I'm trying to be a less terrible one. Thank you for believing that I could learn, even if I had to learn the hardest way possible. Sincerely, Warren Blackwell. Judge Caprio folds the letter. He sits with it for a long time, thinking about justice, about punishment, about redemption. He's seen thousands of defendants. Some learn, some don't. Some change, some don't. You can't always tell which is which. You can only do your job. Apply the law. Try to balance punishment with rehabilitation. Try to protect society while giving people a chance to become better. Warren Blackwell committed terrible crimes. He let men die for profit. He betrayed every oath he took. He deserved every year of his sentence. But maybe, just maybe, he's learning. Maybe living as the men he failed is teaching him something that a comfortable prison never could. Maybe feeling their suffering is the only way he could truly understand what he took from them. Or maybe it's all manipulation. Maybe he's just trying to get his sentence reduced. Maybe the letter is a lie. You can never really know. Judge Caprio files the letter in Warren's case folder. He won't reduce the sentence. 25 years stands. But he'll keep the letter, as a reminder that justice isn't just about punishment. It's also about the possibility of change, even for the worst of us, even when we don't deserve it. 23 years later, Warren Blackwell is 75 years old. He's been in Riverside State Prison for 23 years. 2 years left on his sentence. Probably won't make it. His health is failing. Heart problems. Diabetes. The years of stress and poor conditions have taken their toll. He lives in the same cell in Block D. The heat still doesn't work well in winter. The pipes still leak, but he doesn't complain. Never has. Not once in 23 years. The prison is different now. After Warren's case went national, there were investigations, reforms, new policies, new oversight, better funding. Block D was renovated. The heat was fixed. Medical care improved. New wardens came. Good ones. Ones who remembered why they took the job. Some of those changes came directly from Warren's story. From the trial. From Judge Caprio's sentencing. From the video of Warren speaking to new officers. That video is now part of mandatory training for all corrections officers in Rhode Island. Thousands have watched it. Thousands have heard Warren's story and learned from his mistakes. Warren won't live to see his release. He knows this. Everyone knows this. But he's made peace with it. A young corrections officer makes his rounds. His name is David. He's 28. Been working here for 5 years. He's good at his job. Respectful. Fair, kind when he can be. Firm when he needs to be. He stops at Warren's cell. Blackwell, you okay? You didn't come out for dinner. Warren sits on his bunk. He looks tired. Old. Sick. Not hungry, Officer David. But thank you for checking. You need medical? Probably, but it can wait until morning. David hesitates. Then he radios for a nurse anyway. I'm sending someone to check on you, just to be safe. Warren smiles. It's a small, sad smile. Thank you. You're good at this job. Better than I ever was. David doesn't know what to say to that. He's seen Warren's file. He knows who he was. What he did. He watched the training video. You probably saved some lives, Warren says quietly. By learning from my mistakes. That's something, I guess. Get some rest, David says. Nurse will be here soon. He continues his rounds. The nurse comes 30 minutes later. She examines Warren. His blood pressure is high. His heart rate is irregular. She recommends he go to the medical wing for observation. Warren goes without complaint. just like he's done everything without complaint for 23 years. He lived for another 8 months. He helps other inmates, shares his wisdom, such as it is, warns them about the choices he made, tries in small ways to do some good with the time he has left. When he dies, it's quiet, in his sleep. In the medical wing, the nurse on duty notes the time 3:42 a.m., the same time James Paulson sent his text begging for help. No one notices the coincidence but Warren's file. Rita Paulson is 77 now. She hears about Warren's death on the news. She sits in her kitchen, looks at a photo of James on the wall, young, smiling, alive. Does she feel satisfaction? Relief? Closure? She doesn't know. Warren's death doesn't bring back her son. Nothing can. But maybe knowing he spent 23 years living the life he forced on others is something. Maybe it's enough. Or maybe nothing will ever be enough when your child is gone. She says a prayer, not for Warren, but for James, and for all the other men who died, and for the ones who lived because Warren's story changed the system. Judge Frank Caprio is 83 years old now, retired for 5 years. He hears about Warren's death. He thinks about the case, about the sentencing, about the letters Warren sent over the years, about whether justice was truly served. He still doesn't have all the answers, but he knows this. Warren Blackwell lived and died as the men he failed lived and died. In a prison he once controlled, subject to the same conditions, the same vulnerabilities, the same human frailty. Some called the sentence cruel. Some called it justice. Some called it brilliant. Some called it wrong. But it served its purpose. It punished. It taught. It changed not just Warren, but the system itself. It forced people to think about how we treat the imprisoned, about what we owe them, about what justice really means. 7 men died because Warren Blackwell valued money over human life. That can never be undone. Those families will never be whole. That pain will never fully heal. But maybe something good came from it anyway. Maybe the system is a little better now. Maybe corrections officers are a little more careful. Maybe inmates are treated a little more humanely. Maybe Warren's 23 years of suffering prevented other suffering. Or maybe that's just what we tell ourselves to make sense of tragedy, to find meaning in senseless death, to believe that justice is possible even when the damage can't be repaired. Judge Caprio closes the newspaper. He looks out his window, thinks about all the cases he presided over, all the defendants, all the victims, all the hard choices. Did he make the right call with Warren Blackwell? He'll never know for sure, but he did what he thought was just, what he thought would serve not just punishment but education, not just retribution but reform. That's all any judge can do. Apply the law. Use their judgment. Try to balance mercy with accountability. Try to protect society while respecting human dignity. Try to make the world a little more fair, a little more just, one case at a time. It's imperfect. It's insufficient. That's all we have. In Riverside State Prison, Warren Blackwell's cell sits empty. Another inmate will move in eventually. The cycle continues. People make mistakes. People go to prison. People suffer. People change or they don't. The system grinds on. But in the training room, new corrections officers still watch Warren's video, still hear his story, still learn from his mistakes. His voice, preserved forever, warns them about the path he took, about the choices he made, about the consequences that followed. Don't be like me, the video says. Be better. Be what I should have been. And because of that, some of them are. Some of them treat inmates with dignity. Some of them call for medical help when someone is sick. Some of them see human beings instead of opportunities. Some of them are the officers Warren Blackwell should have been. That's his legacy. Not the money he stole, not the men who died, but the lessons learned from his failure, the changes made because of his crimes, the lives saved because others chose a different path. It's not redemption. Warren never earned that, but it's something. A small good born from great evil. A lesson purchased with the highest price. A warning written in suffering and regret. Money can buy many things. Luxury, comfort, pleasure, power, but it cannot buy back time. It cannot undo harm. It cannot purchase dignity. And in the end, it cannot save you from yourself, from your choices, from your consequences. Warren Blackwell learned that lesson too late, but he learned it completely. And in learning it, he taught it to thousands of others who might have made the same mistakes. That's not enough. It will never be enough. 7 men are still dead, but something, and sometimes something is all we get. Justice is imperfect. Humans are flawed. Systems fail. But we keep trying, we keep striving, we keep believing that accountability matters, that consequences teach, that change is possible, even in the darkest circumstances. That's what Judge Frank Caprio believed when he sentenced Warren Blackwell to serve his time in his own prison. And maybe he was right. Maybe Warren learned what he needed to learn. Maybe others learned from watching. Maybe the system got a little better. Or maybe justice is just what we call it when we do our best with an impossible situation. When we balance punishment with purpose. When we hold people accountable while leaving space for growth. When we demand consequences while respecting humanity. Warren Blackwell spent 23 years paying for his crimes. Living as his victims lived. Feeling what they felt. Understanding, finally, what he took from them. And in those 23 years, he became a warning, a lesson. A reminder of what happens when power corrupts and greed destroys. He died as he lived his final years, quietly, in the prison he once controlled, subject to the same fate he inflicted on others. And in that symmetry, that terrible poetry, maybe there is justice after all. Not the perfect justice we wish for, not the justice that brings back the dead, but the flawed, human, insufficient justice that's all we can achieve. The justice that says, actions have consequences. Power is responsibility, and every life, even behind bars, has value. Warren Blackwell forgot that truth, spent 23 years remembering it, and taught it to thousands through his failure. That's his story. That's his sentence. That's his legacy. May we learn from it. May we do better. May we never forget that justice, real justice, means treating everyone with dignity, even when they don't deserve it, even when it costs us, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard.